Alrighty, guys, welcome. This is your Untitled Chapter. So we got something really cool today here to check out and talk with you guys about. So first things first, Kirk Berglund, YouTuber, brought this to my attention as he has done some videos on this game himself on his channel. Kind of did an overview of the game system and stuff, so I'm not going to go into much details about the actual game system and how it plays. So be sure to check out his videos. I'll link them down in the description below. But you should definitely check his videos out as he's done a lot more than this. But I thought I would print out some of these new baseball game. Now this is a beta. So things are changing. Nothing's set in stone yet, and they're still working on this and getting the format and everything and designing everything and updating things and changing things and everything. This is just a beta. You can download the beta yourself if you want to on the Season Ticket Facebook page. And yeah, definitely check out Kurt's videos on this. So after watching Kurt's videos, I'm like, well, this looks pretty interesting. I got to check this out and give it my my overview and give my thoughts about it. And Alan Shaw's here as well. Brandon, how you doing, guys? So yeah, so definitely check out Kurt's videos. And like I said, I'm not going to go into too much details about how everything plays. I'm just going to cover just kind of the basics and everything. But I'm going to give you guys my thoughts about this. So right off the bat, you can see that the cards are a lot bigger than your normal baseball cards. If I was to give you, say, a comparison here. Let me move my keyboard out of the way. Right, so for example, if we were just to say, take an APA card, right? So you can see how much bigger these cards are than an APA card. Quite a bit bigger. There's still a lot of space, some white space around it. So not everything's jammed together. So I do like the bigger size of the cards. That's my first thought. And of course, since it comes as a PDF, you have to print those cards out and cut them all out. And there is no edge lines on the actual sheets, but you can see I did a pretty good job of just eyeballing it. And if you're halfway decent at cutting out cards, if you've been doing it, everything is well spread out on the card and you can kind of line everything up pretty decently. Everything's not going to match exactly perfectly. I wish they have if this is our sheet of players, if they just had a couple cut lines, just on the edges, just a couple of them to kind of guide you, that would have helped. But again, this is beta. Things I'm talking about are things that I see currently in the game. Just my thoughts and overviews. And, if you kind of agree with what I say or whatever, you can post on their Facebook group. Or you can tell them that I'm totally wrong, whatever. But I'm just giving you my thoughts, my opinions. I have lots of different baseball games, lots of different experience with baseball games. So I think I am a pretty good judge when it comes to baseball games, designing baseball games, and what players are looking for. I'm going to move my microphone a little bit. So again, this is a season ticket. This is beta. I can't stress that enough. Things are changing, updating, altering, whatever. I'm just giving you my opinions as of December 2020. So things might look totally different next year. The process might be totally different. I don't know, but I'm just giving you my opinions of today. So first off, I like the bigger cards. That's nice. Second thing is the font. The font they used, I do like the font because it makes everything pretty clear and concise. You can see, SP. I like it because the cards are bigger. and they're not jamming everything into like a little tiny area, right? I mean, if you compare these cards, everything's jammed together. I'm just using app as an example, right? Because they're smaller cards. I would rather have bigger cards and pay for pay more money, because it'll cost more money to print this out, because you're only going to get 6 cards per sheet as opposed to like 9 cards per sheet. But I like the bigger size. Us older guys with our glasses and stuff, right? We need to be able to see and read things, and it needs to be clear. So that's good. So I like the font. I like the size of the cards. Everything seems to be well laid out. And we're going to give the game a little whirl through and see what we do, what we like, what we don't like, and just kind of give you our thoughts and opinions of stuff. So you're going to need 3 dice. You're going to need a 6-sided dice. You're going to need 2 10-sided dice. And the way they're read is the 6-sided dice is basically going to tell you what kind of play it is. So on a 1 or 2, it's going to come off the pitcher card. And on the 1s, all right, so you're basically going to be from 100, right? So 100 to 199, right? 199 are going to come off the pitcher card, and this is just a straight up number on the card. There's no lefty righty splits or anything like that. It's just straight up 100 to 199, and you're going to get the result on the card, and it's going to tell you what kind of play it is. Now if you roll 200, 200, wherever the 0 is, there it is. So if you roll 200 to 299, you're going to get this is where the lefty-righty splits come into play. So anything between 200 and 299, if we're doing Chessine versus Matt Carpenter would be lefty, so we're going to look versus a left-hander, 200 to 299. If it was a right-hander, say Paul Goldschmidt, we'd obviously look on the right-handed side. Then your 3s, 300 to 399 is going to come off your batter card, and it's going to be, again, just straight up their abilities, not versus lefties or versus righties, just their straight up abilities. And then your 400s to 499s are going to be your batters versus the pitchers, lefty righty splits. So in this case, if we rolled, say, 444, it's going to be versus a right-hander. So we look under right-hander, we're going to find 444, and it's going to be a fly ball to right center field. So 100 is just your straight pitcher. 200s are going to be your lefty-righty switch off of your pitcher card. Your 300s are just your straight-up batters. Your 400s are your lefty-righty split off the batter cards. Your 500s are going to be your range and error checks for your different players. And so let's say we roll 5, 1, 4. So the first die, this 5, tells us it's going to be a range or error check. And then the first die of the percentile, so that was 514, is going to tell you the position, and it goes just like baseball positions. So 1 is going to be your pitcher, 2 is going to be your catcher, 3 is going to be your first baseman, 4 is going to be your second baseman, etc., etc., etc. And then you're going to look on that player card for the number. So in this example, 514 will actually come off the pitcher card, and we can see 514 is going to be a 163 double play if there was a runner at first. So 514. If it was, say, a 516, right, 516, then that would be an error. If it was, say, 546, well, that's going to come off the second baseman, so we would need the second baseman's card in this case. Let's see if we can find the second baseman here. Third, second. Where is he? It's going to be probably Moustakis here at second base. And so 546. We're going to look at 5. No, he's a third baseman. Sorry. Let's see here. Center field, right field, left field. Nope, Shaw is third. Yeah. So it's going to be 546 is going to be a single plus if we rolled that off of Jesus. Oh, no, he's at, sorry, the stock is 546. And that is going to be a 5-4-3 double play if he was playing third base. But because he's also playing second base, I would think there would be another. See, this is for his third base, but since he plays both of them, and in this game particularly, let's see who was the actual second baseman. Yeah, it was Moustakis. So we're playing the first game of the 2019 season, by the way, St. Louis against Milwaukee. So Moustakis did start at second base. So it's interesting that he actually doesn't have a second base, like he has a third base one, but he doesn't have a second base one. So again, this is still beta. I don't know if they are just... Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. It would be a 5-4-3 double play. If he was playing second base, it would be a 4-6-3 double play. So obviously you would have to change the results to get that. But anyway, so that's your 500s. And then your 6, if you roll 6 on this dice, 6 is going to be your ballpark checks, right? So you're going to have a ballpark check, and then you're going to have your 600s, the 699s, and actually more than 699 if you get into pitcher fatigue and stuff, which I'm not going to go too much into. Again, just kind of broad overview of the game and what I'm doing, so you guys have kind of a general idea. Definitely watch Kurt Berglund's. He's got a bunch of videos. He did a tutorial and he kind of goes over everything. So definitely check that out. I'm not here to really do that. I'm just giving you my original thoughts and then play the game a little bit and give you our opinions of stuff. So, all right. So if you're just joining us, thank you all, one and all. So my original thoughts are, first of all, bigger cards. I like the bigger cards, so that's a plus. I like the font they use. Everything's crisp and clean. That's a plus. You can see how Matt Carpenter has actually got a third base and a first base thing, but not all the players do. If we look at Moustakis, right? We just looked at Moustakis. He plays third base and second base. He doesn't have a second base one. So probably a little oversight on their part. Again, I know I'm going to say this a bunch of times, but I want everyone to understand this is beta. They're changing things, updating things. This is not final product or anything like that. This is just for us to give it a whirl and see what needs updated, changed, fixed, altered, whatever. Give them our advice. And then let them, finish designing it and creating it. So, but I want to give my original thoughts on it. All right, so, so let's go ahead and get started. And we'll run through a couple plays. The first couple I'll go through kind of slow, just to kind of show you what's going on. And then we'll pick things up a little bit here. This is a game from April. Like April 1st, I think. April, what day was this? It was, again, we're playing the opening day, 2019, Cardinals, Brewers, March 28th, 2019. It's a 1:10 p.m. start. It's a day game on grass. The temperature, will you actually use temperature? It is 66 degrees. And you can see if there's a deep drive. If it's less than 55 degrees, it's a -1. If it's over 85 degrees, it's a +1. We'll just use the temperature that was actually, because it's in the dome, they had the the roof closed probably, yep, because the wind was 0. So 55 to 80, there's no adjustment. So we won't have any adjustments if we get any deep drives. So, all right, so let's give it a whirl, give it a try, see what we got. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. But again, if you're looking for more in-depth, what's going on, what all this, what does this mean, how do I play this, where do I get this from, how do I get this, how do I get these cards? One other thing I do want to say before we get started. So this is the San Diego Padres. So I got like the first 3 teams the Cardinals played, which is the Brewers, the Pirates, and the Padres. And you get 5 sheets. 5 sheets. And there's 6 on a sheet. So you're basically getting 30 players minus one of them will be a pitcher card, a pitcher batter card, if I can find it in here somewhere. I'll find it. Sooner or later, I'll find it. So you can see all the players. Boom, 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 boom. Where is their pitcher card? The pitcher batting card. There it is. So each of the team has their own pitcher batting card, which is nice. It saves the designer having to create a special card for every single pitcher. So I don't mind the pitcher batter cards for each team is a little bit different. I believe it's different for each team, for each player, for each team. I could be wrong. This might just be a standard one. But it saves the designer from having to card a million pitcher batting cards, right? So you just give one, use their different ratings, and then get the result off of that. So that doesn't bother me. The only thing that does slightly bother me is that you're only getting 30 players, and one of them is a pitcher batting card. So you're really only getting 29. You're only getting 29 players. So you're not going to get every single. You're not going to get the fringe players. You're not going to get all of the players that didn't make a lot of starts and the pitchers that didn't make a lot of innings and all that stuff. So you're only going to get 29. I don't know if they're going to expand on that, if there's like an extra player file. Again, I'm just giving you my original thoughts and what I have today. What happens in the future, I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. I'm just giving you my original thoughts. I am a proponent of, if you're going to give me a baseball team, I don't care if the dude only batted one time. I want a card that has his name on it. I don't care if I'm only going to use it one time in my whole replay. I don't care. I want that. If that's not a big deal for you, then you don't have to worry about that. But if you are a kind of player like me and you want to have every single player, now again, this is beta and they're still working on this, so maybe fringe players are not high in their priority. The only problem is, because we're playing opening day, it seems like every time I go to play an opening day game with any system out there, except for 1 or 2 systems, they're always missing players. Today's lineup is missing Dominic Leone for the Cardinals. There is no Dominic Leone pitcher card to be found anywhere, which is, kind of disappointing, because now I don't have that pitcher that's going to be able to come in and play in this game. So if you are going to design a baseball game, the number one rule should be you have to include everyone that was in the opening day roster with a card. That should be rule number 1. Because this is like the 3rd or 4th time that I've come across different game systems opening day not having all the player cards. So that is something I will harp upon. Again, this is beta and I understand that, so maybe not all the player cards are done and all that. So take that with a grain of salt. Take everything I say with a grain of salt because they're still working on this. I'm giving you the pros and the cons as of today. Okay, with all that said, so yes, we have missing players on the opening day roster. Fortunately, all the batters are here. We're just missing one of the pitchers. All right, so let's get things underway. We got the righty Julius Chassin for the Brewers, and we got Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals stepping up to the plate. Again, this six-sided dice, which is interesting. Let's just talk about the formatting of this really quickly, right? So you got a six-sided dice. So if you were playing, say, Stratomatic or some of the other baseball games out there, 1, 2, and 3 would come off the batter card. 4, 5, and 6 would come off the pitcher card. This is not a 50-50 game because you have 1 and 2 coming off the pitcher card. You have 3 and 4 coming off the batter card. You have 5, which is going to be your range and error checks. And then your 6, which is going to be your stadium checks. So it's not technically a 50-50 game because you're going to get a lot more results out there. In first impressions, I got to say I like that. I'm not a big 50-50 guy. It doesn't hurt me or it doesn't affect me like it does a lot of people out there. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I won't play anything that's 50-50. I'm not like that, okay? If it's a good system and it's 50-50, I'll still play it. There's, Stratomatic, I still would play Stratomatic, even though that's a 50-50 because it's a good game. I would play Triple Play Baseball. It's a 50-50 system. But there are other ones that I won't play, not because they're not 50-50, I won't play them because they're just not a good system. So this is interesting right off the bat because I like games that are mix it up, do something different. Anybody that comes up with new ideas, tries new things and all that, so I'm interested, right? So this is not 50-50. You're going to get 1, 2. You got a 33% chance it's coming off the pitcher card. You got a 33% chance it's coming off the batter card. You got a 33% chance it's either going to be a range error or it's going to come down to the ballpark. So, I like that idea. I've always liked that idea. I think more game systems should do things like that, where instead of just 50-50, make it even a 10-sided dice and make it 1 to 6 for something, make it 7 to 9 for something else, and make it 0 for something else, or whatever, So anyways, and then these are always red. These are just percentile dice, right? These are just percentile dice. But I guess the way you're supposed to read it is red, white, blue, just so it makes more sense for you to keep track of, is this a 38 or is that an 83? Well, if you just go red, white, blue, then that's fine. You don't have to have a white and a blue. You can use whatever colors you want, just as long as you know, right? It's a little weird for me because I normally, when I roll percentile, in all the games that I normally use the colored dice as the 10 and the whites dice as the single digits. So this would be a 61 normally. But if they want to use red, white, blue, that's fine. I can adjust. I'm not that difficult to get along with. There is a lot of good information about the players. Ratings up here at the top. Positional things there. Your pitcher or your batter ratings. And then, of course, your statistics down there. It does give all the positions, or most of the positions the player used, which is cool. I like that. There's a lot of games out there. So this is a positive, actually, is that a lot of games out there will just card a player and, just put down third base or whatever. When they play multiple positions, they don't even bother to list some of the other positions. So this is nice because Dexter Fowler, right field and center field, which for me, if you're not an expert on this team, if you are just, you're doing a replay of, say, Milwaukee because you love Milwaukee and they play the Cardinals, you're not for sure when you're making defensive substitutions later in the game, can Fowler play center field? Can I move him into center field? Well, if it tells you on the card what positions they actually played, then yes, it makes it so much easier for us. So another positivity. So good for that. Good on that. All right, D. Scott Howard's in the house. Al Red Sox fan is in the house. Thank you all for joining us. So enough babbling. Let's get on with things and see what happens, right? Our first ever roll. It's a 5, so it's going to be, remember, 5 is going to be a range and error checks, right? The first dice of your percentile dice is going to give you the position just like in normal baseball. So 5, 2, 2, everyone knows is going to be the catcher. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to check on the catcher. And in this case, the catcher is Grandal. Oh, Grandal, which is Kurt Berglund's favorite player, Grandal. All right, and so all we're going to do is look at on Grandal, and he's going to have a 527. So we're going to look at 527 and see what it says for 527. So 525 to 527 is going to be a single infield hit, as Grandal cannot get to it. So that is going to be a leadoff single by Matt Carpenter as a little number in front of the plate. Grandal can't get out from behind the plate quick enough to get it. Carpenter hustling down the line all the way, and he's got a leadoff single. All right, so that brings up Paul Goldschmidt. So another plus for this game is right now, first batter Cardinals, and first batter gets a base hit. So I got to think that this game is good already. If we can keep getting hits for the Cardinals, that would be good. Captain Carl 8, what's going on, my friend? Here we go. Goldschmidt. You know what? We can try to steal. So let's look at Grandal's arm. All right, let's look at Grandal. Grandal's arm is a 6. All right. He's a 6. So the way they do steals in this game, and I'm not going to steal, but I'm going to go through the process so you guys understand how to do it, all right? So it's a 2-step process to do a steal. And the first thing you're going to do is find out whether or not they can get the jump, all right? In this case, it's Matt Carpenter. He's got a steal attempt of 5, okay? I know you probably can't see that little number, but it's a 5. And then you look at the pitcher's hold rating. In this case, the pitcher's hold rating is a 5. All right? So what you do is you add 10 to whatever their hold rating is, and that would be 15. So the pitcher basically has got 15. Carpenter needs to get higher than that. He's got to roll higher than a 15 to get a good jump. So in this case, he's got a steal attempt of 5. We roll 2 dice, we add them together and add 5, and we got to try and beat 15 to get a good jump. In this case, we rolled a 13 plus 5 is 18, so we did get a good jump. All right, if you get a good jump, then you're going to roll your speed rating versus the catcher's arm rating, and it basically works the same way. The catcher's arm is a 6, so you add 10 to that. So it's 16, so you need higher than 16. If you get a good jump, what you're going to do is you're going to roll all 3 of these dice and add them to your speed rating. If you don't get a good jump, you just roll these 2 dice and add them to your speed rating. So you can still run, which is, again, another plus. A lot of games are you either go or you don't go, and it's all based on the dice. Right? In this game, and I like baseball games that do this, you get either a good jump, or you don't get a good jump, but you can still go. You can still try to steal. All right? So in this case, If you get a good jump, you get all 3 dice, you add them together, you got to get higher than the catcher ratings, arm plus 10. So in this case, again, his arm rating is a 6, so we need higher than a 16. Carpenter's steel is a 5. You rolled a 17 and 5 is 23, which is way higher, so he would have stolen successfully. You got a good jump, which gave us this dice, and then we rolled higher than the catcher's arm. If we didn't get a good jump, we can still go. We can still try to steal. But in this case, we only get our speed rating plus these 2 dice. That's it. But in this case, like I said, we're not going to try to steal with Matt Carpenter. That was just an example of how you do it. So Goldsmith's up. Here we go. So a lot of positives so far. There is one negative I will say that I've come across that I saw when Kurt Berglund was playing, and I knew it was going to be an issue for me. We'll get to it. Well, we kind of already got to it, right? Anytime you have a range or error play, you're going to have to be sifting through the cards to get, because you're going to need their ratings off of the cards, right? So anytime we just had Grandal, we're running on Grandal, so we had to look this information up, which is a lot of stopping the flow of the game to look stuff up. So I don't know a way around that, how to design it better, other than maybe they could come up with some kind of defensive sheets, you know, like something like Fall Classic does, where they have defensive sheets with all the ratings on there. You print this out, and then you have it, and that way you're not having to constantly look it up all the time. So yeah, it breaks it for me and a lot of players out there. I know it breaks the flow of the game because you're rolling, you're getting out. Okay, he's out, and you're doing things, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait a minute, now I gotta find this guy. Where is this guy at? What was the number again? Oh yeah, that was the number. Oh yeah, now I gotta roll, and it breaks the immersion of the game. So. You know, one of the things that I really like about Fall Classic is these defensive sheets. You print these out for 2 teams. You have them on your table. Anytime you need to look something up, it's right there at your fingertips. You don't have to go and stop and look it up in the player cards. If I had this up on my screen right in front of me, when I need the catcher ratings, I can go, catcher rating, he's an A. Boom, done. How long did that take me? Like 2 seconds, right? I'm not shifting through cards, trying to find them and everything like that. So I would hope if the designer gets some feedback about this, that he would look into doing something like that. I'm not saying that's the answer for this game. I'm just saying there's something, anytime you got to stop to look things up is a bad thing. Now, a lot of players, right? A lot of players will have their score sheets, right? Let me move this stuff out of the way. So you're going to have your scorecard on here. You're going to have all your teams and your lineups and everything. But here's the problem with that, right? If you look at baseball demos and his Stratomatic and stuff, you can't write. You're going to have to write down all this information for every single one of your players. And you can see it's a whole group. It's not just like one stat you're writing down. You have to write down, 350 to 351 is going to be a single plus plus. 352 is going to be a L3/R2 exclamation point. 355 or 533 to 535 is going to be 363 double play, etc. So you got to write all that down. Which is, to be honest, it's not going to be doable if you are, you're doing hand scoring. You got your score sheet and you got all your stuff. You're just not going to write all that down for every single player, which means you're going to have to constantly look things up, right? Every time. And, it's not like it happens once in a while, because every time a 5 comes up, we're going to have to do that. So 1/6 of the time, we're going to have to do that. For me, that's an issue, right? And I hope the designer looks at doing something, like I said, defensive sheets for every team. You have the players, the ratings, and the numbers and everything on there. I can just look it up. Or another way to get that information other than having to look through it up. That's just my thoughts and opinions as of today. Again, this is beta. For you guys just joining us, this is season ticket beta. Things are changing, updating, constantly being worked on, looked at. It's out there. You can download it, try it out yourself for free. Go to the season ticket Facebook group. Join it. You can download the files, print them out, try it out for yourself. Give the designer feedback, information. He's constantly putting up polls on there. If I do this, would you rather have it, in the 400s, or would you rather have it in this way? Would you rather have it this way? What am I missing? What is not here? What should be there? What's not? All this stuff. So definitely go subscribe. Facebook group, season ticket. It's going to help because I see a lot of people posting. I see a lot of people giving information. I see the designer willing to listen to people. So that's kind of why I went through and decided I was going to do a video on this. All right. Anyways, we're one batter in and we've gone 36 minutes. Holy crap, dude, get to work. Let's go. All right, 6. So here's our first 6. So we know what that is. That's going to be our ballpark chart. All the 600s on here. So we got 629. 629. That is a strikeout. So 607 to 639 is a strikeout. So we'll put that down as a K. So Goldschmidt's out of there. You can see most. All right, so we just talked about the negative. We've talked about a lot of the positive, but here's another positive. I watched Kirk Berglund. Make sure you go check out his videos. He's got a lot of videos on this already. He goes into more details about how to play the game. But 95% of your results you're going to get really quickly. You're going to find the answer and it's going to go quick, which is, for me, a super good plus. It's not one of these games where you roll and then you check and then you got to roll again and then you got to check and then get another dice roll or anything like that. It's normally one roll will give you most of your results. So that's obviously going to make the game flow really well. And that's why having to stop and look things up is a real bummer, because that takes up the time that you don't want to do things. All right, so Paul DeYoung's up. All right, we got a 439. So this is going to be lefty-righty split. Chastain's a righty. 439. 439 is going to be a fly ball to right field. F9 for you guys keeping score at home. F9. See that? One roll. You're done. You're flipping the card over. You're moving on to the next result. Marcell Ozuna. Righty-righty matchup. 145. 145 is going to be a fly ball to center. And that's going to do it. So the leadoff single goes nowhere. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. And it's going to be Miles Mikolas for the Cardinals against Lorenzo Cain for the Brewers. As at 485, again, this is going to be a lefty-righty. He's a right-hander, 485. And 485 is a strikeout. Versus a left-hander, it would have been a deep fly to left field. Oh, we could have had something going. But against right-handers, that is a strikeout. So again, quick results. I like that. Hey, Tony's Board Life. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Christian Yelich, 621. Again, Miller Park, 621. And that'll be a strikeout. So, not bad there by Miles Mikolas. Let's get to see what Ryan Brunn can do. Righty-righty matchup. 238. That's going to be lefty-righty split against the righty. 283. Gosh, I got to remember. I always do that. That's my fault because, as I said earlier, I'm used to playing games where you roll percentile and it's colored dice and white dice. I got to remember in this game, is actually white dice than green colored dice. So it's 283. 283 versus a right-hander. 283, and that is going to be a deep drive to left field. That's a deep drive to left field. All right, so here we get to see this now in action. All right, so another thing I like, right, is I've always liked it, no matter if you're talking board games or whatever, when you create charts, right, anybody out there, if you're thinking about designing a game, if you create a game and you have a chart, put the goddamn image of the dice they should roll right there with the chart. This is the way it's supposed to be done, folks, just like this. Oh, what do I need to do? Oh, I need to roll these 2 dice. How simple is that? Instead of having to go back to the rule book and try to figure it out, all you have to do is put the images right there. So that's another plus. So I'm going to look at his power. Ryan Braun. His power is a 6. So we're going to roll 2 dice. We're going to add his power plus 2 dice. And it went to deep to left field. Let's see what he gets. And that is a 9, and 9 is 18. Plus 6 is 24. 24 is going. It is going. It is going far. It is going deep. It is gone. Ryan Braun with the solo shot here in the bottom of the first inning. And the Brewers take a 1-0 lead. Now here's the thing. I've watched Kirk Berglund play, right? And so, I got a general idea of most of this stuff just from watching him play a game, right? And talk about it and everything. I have not read the rule book at all. I didn't even print out the rule book. This is one of these games that is simple enough for you to look at this and figure out, right? I didn't even know how to do this, but I'm like, oh, I rolled a deep fly to right field. Okay, well, then I go and I look at deep fly to left field, right? Oh, it tells me power plus die plus die. Oh, okay. So this is one of these games that's simple enough that you probably can figure this out if you play any baseball games out there. So that is a home run. I guess I should be keeping track over here. Oops. Who's up? Yeah, Travis Shaw is up. It is 1-0. Milwaukee, Travis Shaw is up. If the back panels are open, that left the park. Yep, it left the park. All right, so here we go. 5:36. So what I got to do is I got to find Paul Goldschmidt because he's going to be the first baseman. I got to find his card. And I got to look up 5:36, and that's going to be a single plus. So if there's a base runner, they would advance an extra base, but in this case, no one's on, so that'll be a single by Travis Shaw. I mean, you can see, quick and easy, simple. I like that. So that's all good. Good stuff. We have a runner first. How quick is he? So, speed of 2, not very good. Steal of 5, so probably not going to have much. Here's the other thing. This is nice also. A lot of baseball games don't include this, and I do appreciate the effort that people make when they design their games and they put in information that's important to people to make a well-designed decision. If I don't know Travis Shaw from anyone else, I'm not going to know if Dude is good stealer or not. But if I look at his stats and I go stolen bases 0, caught stealing 0, I know Dude isn't going to try to steal because that information's on here. I can make a good guess of what I should be doing by looking at these stats, including the stats that are important for people to make good decisions. Is a good design decision. Thank you. Jesus Aguilar. Now, here we go again. Fortunately, this is going to be the pitcher because it's 5-1-3. 513 is going to be a 163 ground ball double play, but they only need the 6-3 part of that because there's already 2 outs. So we're on to the top of the second. Here we go, Yadier Molina. 4-14, that's going to be lefty-righty split. 4-14, 14. That's going to be a fly ball to center field, F8. Dexter Fowler. Here we go again. 582, I got to find the center fielder. That's Cain. And 528, my bad. I did it again. 528 is going to be Grandal. 528 is a strikeout. Is Grandal frames that one just perfectly and gets a strikeout. And it's Colton Wong. 378. So this is just going to be no lefty righty split. This is straight up. I did it again. 387. 387 is going to be a single 2-base advance, but there's nobody on. So with 2 outs, Colton Wong gets a single. That brings up Harrison Bader. 455. Fortunately, they are the same color this time. 455. That will be the lefty-righty split. 455, and that is going to be a walk. Harrison Bader walks. So 2 men on for the Cardinals, but the pitcher is going to be up. So this will be our first time we actually get to see the pitcher batting cards. So if you roll in the 300s, we're going to look at the pitcher's contact rating. If we roll in the 400s, it's going to be his eye rating. So pitchers are going to be rated for contact and eye. And if they have a contact rating under 2, so a 0 or 1, then you use this little chart down here. So let's see what we get here for Miles Michaelis. 2 runners on with 2 outs. That is a 368. So 3, and Michaelis is contact. He is a 2. 368 and 300 to 388 is going to be a strikeout. So he will swing and miss, and that'll do it. Now, one question I have is, are these the same cards for each team? And I believe the answer is yes. They look like the exact same cards. So all pitcher batting cards are the same. So if you were here earlier, one of the things they talked about was the fact that you get 5 sheets of 6 players, so it gives you 30 players. One of those is taken up by this. They should just remove this from all the team sheets. Just remove this from the team sheets and get that extra player on there for sure. And then just have this in part of the instructions that they could print out. Because you're only going to need, just print this out a couple times. Because it's the same thing for every team, it looks like. All right. Where are we at? Bottom of the second. Mike Moustakas is up. 658. 658. And that is going to be a liner right at the shortstop DeYoung, and he snares that out of the air for the first out. Again, I could keep bringing this back and forth, but you guys know how to read a chart. I'm sure you do. You just look for the number, right? That's how hard it is. It's not very hard. You just look for a number. Match the number you roll is what you're looking for. All right, Yazami Grandal. Kurt Berglund's favorite brewer of all time. That is a 4-2-2. 422. That is a walk by Grandal. Walks him. And that brings up Orlando Arcia. 592. So we're going to look for the right fielder. That's going to be Fowler. Let's see where his card is. See, this is, I don't like this. 592 is going to be a single. It's going to be a single R2 question mark, which means it's going to be a single R2 question mark. Let's see. This is going to probably be a test to find out if, let's see here. If the runner can advance, I bet. Yeah, R1 may try to advance R2. Just looking at the reference sheet here to see what I can... Yeah, it's going to be a single. A runner's going to make it to second. He can try to make it to third. That is a whole process in itself as well, unfortunately. It is, so what you're going to try to do, if you want to take the extra base, if he wants to go from first to third. So we know, let's see, it was 5, yeah, it was on Fowler's card, right? 592. So it was a single, one base, R2 question mark, which means the runner from first goes to second. He can try to go to third, and what he has to do is he rolls against the arm rating of Dexter Fowler. In this case, it's a 6 plus 10. It's always plus 10 for the defender. So that would be 16. And then you take the runner speed. In this case, it's Grandal, which is going to be his speed of 3. And you're going to roll 2 dice to see if you want to advance. You have to roll higher than the 16. In this case, we're not going to send him to third. So, we will put that down as just a single. I just wanted to explain that so you all know what I'm doing. And now there's runners at first and second with the pitcher card coming up. So, let's look at bunts. Shall we look at a bunt? Because with only one out, he's definitely going to try to bunt. Let's look at bunts. I think there is a bunt option in the game. It is... let's see. Is it in the rules section? Boom, 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 boom. Steal attempts, doubles, pickoffs, challenges, pitcher fatigue. Bunting. Here's bunting. Okay. So you're going to take the blue dice and the 6-sided dice, and you're going to add the bunter rating. In this case, Chassin bunt is a 4. So let's see what happens here. So you rolled 2, and 2 is 4 plus 4 is 8. And on an 8, it's a fielder's choice at first base. Fielder's choice and bunt easily. Let's see here. Wait, fielder's choice, and it went to the bunt easily field by the first baseman, catcher, third base, or pitcher. The respective fielder should choose one of the following: take the automatic out at first, or try to get the lead runner. And if you try to get the lead runner, you're going to roll the arm rating plus the blue dice, plus the white dice, plus the red dice, and you need to be greater than 10 plus the runner's speed. So, yeah, we might try. Let's try that. Why not? So, Grandal is on second. His speed is a 3. All right, so his speed is a 3. And it was bunted. I can show you guys this. Let's have to go into my OBS here and just show you. I'll have to slide this out of the way, but you guys should see that now. So you can see on the bunting, right? You're just going to roll the blue dice, the red dice, and add the bunt rating, and then you're going to look on this little chart here. We got an 8, which means it was a fielder's choice to the first baseman. So with the fielder's choice, we can do one of these two things. We can either take the automatic out at first, or we can try to get the lead runner. To try and get the lead runner, we have to beat 10 plus the speed of the runner, and we just looked at Grandal here. Grandal was, what did we say his was? His speed is 3. So we just need to be higher than 13. So we're going to take the first baseman's arm rating, and that is 4 for Goldschmidt. And we're going to add this dice, and this dice. And we're going to try to beat a 13. And we're going to try and get him out at third. As he comes in, fields the bunt, throws to third, and 6. And 6 is 12, plus 4 is 16. He's beat 13, so that is going to be a great play by Goldschmidt. And we're going to get this as going to be a 3-5 put out at third on the bunt. All right, so that's how you do the bunts. You can see again. I can't stress this enough. If I'm going to talk to the designer of this game specifically, I cannot stress to him enough. We have slowed this game down to a crawl, looking up these stats and the ratings and everything. We need to be able to look at a sheet that has all that information on it. I have to look up the first baseman's arm. I got to look up the runner's speed. I got to look up the information on the chart. All that takes up time, which, again, when we have a play, right, and it takes us 10 seconds to get the result, it's great. But when we slow down because we have to look up all this other information, it really takes away from the flow of the game. So I cannot stress enough to him to make sure he's got a way. If he doesn't want to do defensive sheets, that's fine. He's got to be able to put that information somewhere that's easily for us to look at. Like just a team sheet, right? I mean, there's plenty of room on the ballpark sheet, as you can see. He could, condense some of this stuff, make this image smaller, put it up in the corner or whatever, and then just have all the players, the 30 or 35 players are going to do, and all their ratings and stats, on the side right there. Put this over here, condense this, move this up, make this image smaller, do something like that. I think that would be a great idea. So still 2 on, 2 away now for Lorenzo Cain. 3-14. 3-14 strikeout. Miles Michaelis does it again. We go into the third. And due up is Matt Carpenter. See how quick that was? I mean, that is... That's perfect, right? I mean, we rolled the dice. We got the result. Boom, it's done. Right? We know what happened immediately. We didn't need to look at a bunch of different ratings and stats and try to compare. And whenever you do a comparison, arm rating, steal rating versus hold rating, jump rating versus throw rating, trying to advance bases, when you're doing, player advancement on the bases, you got to do the arm rating versus the run rating. And every time you do that, you're looking up 3 different things. It's going to slow the game down unless you have a way to make it so that the players can look that information up really quickly. All right. Matt Carpenter leading things off here in the third. 637. 637 is a strikeout. See how quick that was? I looked at the chart, right? When I looked at the chart, 637, boom, done. Move on. Paul Goldschmidt. 152. That's going to be a walk. That's going to be a walk. So Goldschmidt's aboard. He had 3 stolen bases. He was caught stealing once. Probably not going to have him try to steal. Paul DeYoung. Oh, here we go. 598. So we're going to find Yelich's card. And 598 is going to be an F9. Okay, well that wasn't too bad this time. F9. That's only because I knew where his card was and I didn't have to go fishing for it. Right? It just so happens his card was like right there at the top. Marcelo Zuna. 305. Strikes out. Of course he does. What else would he do? Go to the bottom of the third. So we did a half inning and it took us like 2 minutes, which is really good. Now, not every half inning is going to be really quick like that. You get some base runners. It's going to slow things down, but that's the flow of the game that most people like to see. So that's good. The other stuff, not so good. And it's going to be Christian Yelich up here. Nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. That is a 298. Oops, 298. 298 against a lefty. 290. Uh-oh. That's a deep fly to right field. Deep fly to right field. And Yelich has got a power of 18.8. This is not going to go well. Deep fly to right field. So again, blue dye, red, white dye. That's good. And we're going to add 8 to it. All he needs to do is roll 14 or higher, and it's gone. That is a 15, and 8 is 23. That is gone. Christian Yelich, home run off of Miles Michaelis. And that one, he hit 44 home runs in 2019. So Ryan Braun, nobody out here in the third, 2-0, 461. No, 416. 416. Thank you. 416 against the right-hander. 416 is a 6-4-3 double play, but we'll just take it as a 6-3. Travis Shaw, nobody on, 1 out. Travis Shaw, 226. He is a lefty, 226. That's going to be 4-6-3 double play, but we will just take the 4-3 play. 2-way for Jesus Aguilar as a 119. And that is a strikeout by Michaelis. And that's going to do it. We go to the bottom of, we go to the top of the fourth, but I think we're going to go ahead and stop right there. I just want to give you guys a general idea of how the flow of the game, what happens, how you do things, and just kind of talk about the flow, what I see I like, what I see I don't like. I wish every game that went to Miller Park against the Cardinals went this well. Well, I'll tell you, I'm a little concerned about this game at this point because it seems broken. Too many home runs for Milwaukee, not enough home runs for the Cardinals. So I think there's something wrong with the Cardinals cards or the Cardinals pitching cards. I haven't been able to put my finger on it, but it's definitely something wrong because Milwaukee's winning 2-0, and that should not happen. We all know that. So, no, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm just kidding about that. So, a lot of things to like. Bigger cards, plus. good font, plus not trying to squeeze all that information into a little tiny card, which too many baseball companies want to do, right? That's a plus. I like the bigger cards. I don't care if I got to spend more money on it. That's fine. I can see this. You guys can probably see this, and look how far away from the camera it is. You guys can probably read these numbers without, if I'm not wiggling the card around, but you guys can probably read those from where you're sitting at home, right? That, for me, is a plus right there. The detailed information, right? It didn't have to have all of the detailed information on the cards. The stolen bases and the caught stealing and the slugging and on base and average and, having all that really nice. Having all the player positions they played. Oh, it's so much helpful. So much helpful when you're trying to make a decision as a manager for a team, right? If you're a Milwaukee fan, Dexter Fowler, late in the game, you're making defensive substitution. You don't know if he plays center field or left field or right field, whatever the hell. I mean, outfielders are outfielders, right? So having that on there, it's good. You can see Matt Carpenter. He's got his third base ratings. He's got his first base ratings on there. We did run into at least Christian Yelich has got right field and left field. Travis Shaw has got his. The only one that we came across, of course, the one we needed was Mike Moustakas. He doesn't have his second base one on there, which is kind of unfortunate, but probably just an oversight. Having the generic pitcher card, I don't mind that, to be honest, but I don't want them to take away from a spot that you can actually get another player on there. You're only getting 5 sheets of 6 players per sheet. You don't want one of them to be a card that you're going to have a million of these cards, because it looks like they're just using one generic card for everybody, and then you're going to use the ratings off the pitcher on either their contact or I rating, right? So don't take a player away just to include this when there's a million copies of this and a million other ways to give players a copy of this. We want the players, right? And we already talked kind of in the beginning, right? Early beta, I understand, but I want to see, I would like more players. I want all my players. I don't care if they only made one pitch or one out or one swing of the bat. I want my goddamn players, right? So include more of the players. Include all the players. Seriously, include all the players. People that play the game, they want the players. If it costs a little bit more money to print it out, people will pay that if they get all the players. Again, biggest negative of this game, and this is kind of goes back to Deep Drive Baseball and a couple of the other games out there, the thing that keeps them from reaching the pinnacle of good game design is all the same thing. When you have to look up and stop the game to find ratings or find stats or whatever on players' cards, that breaks up the flow of the game. And so you have to find a way. If you want to be very good in a successful game, you have to find a way to be able to do that. If you want to include player information on their card, right? Or if you want to do defensive sheets like Fall Classic does, some kind of way where I can look at something and I can go, this guy's got an arm of 7 and this guy's got a speed of 9. Boom. It took me like 10 seconds to do it. If I got to fish through cards and trying to find the players, it's a pain in the ass. It takes you out of the flow of the game. You're then you're putting cards underneath cards when you should, oh wait, what order is this? No, wait, now, God, everything gets all mixed up. It's just a pain in the ass. Don't do it. Find a way. If you're going to rely on players' ratings, they've got to have a way for the people to get those ratings really well. The other question I would have is, if you are using like Matt Carpenter, right, and he's got to throw somebody out, it's his arm rating plus 10, right? And same thing, when we looked at Yasgami Grandal, right? Because he's the catcher. Right? When he's trying to throw somebody out, it's going to be his arm rating plus 10. Why not just change his arm rating instead of saying 6? Why not just say 16? Why not just put it in there as 16 and not have the player have to remember that they got to attend to it? I'm just, like, the arm ratings are always going to be, you're always going to be plus 10. I can't think of a situation where you're going to need just an arm rating. You're always going to be your arm rating versus the player's speed, right? So I'm not sure why some of these ratings are the way they are. Maybe I'm missing something. That's a possibility. Maybe, I haven't played a ton of this game. I'm certainly not an expert. I'm just giving you my initial thoughts. Not an expert. But I'm just wondering why their arm ratings. Now, your speed rating, you got to keep that as a 5. You can't make that 15. Your steal rating, right? But your arm ratings should be like a 16. Oh yeah, one other thing that I like that I didn't mention here. It actually shows you how many games they played at each of the different positions. So you can see Lorenzo Cain played 143 at center field. If we look at, say, Christian Yelich here, he played 124 in right and only 6 in left. So that's good information as well. Really good information as well. The coloring and everything is fine. I mean, you don't have to have all this fancy-dancy coloring and everything like that, especially for people printing it out at home. You don't want them wasting a lot of ink. I kind of like just a few color things that make it stand out, right? The one thing I would say, right, here's another pro tip for you guys out there. Here's another pro tip, right? Whenever you have ratings, right? So you can see the designer of this game, what he did with his ratings here was he said power and contact are going to be black, and then your speed, your steal, and your bunt are going to be green, and then your arm and your defense are going to be red. And that's a design decision that he came up with, right? He's like, okay, well, we're going to make these black. Anything to do with like running or stealing, we're going to make these green, and then all the defense and our ratings are going to make red. I would go different if I was designing this. I would go differently, and here's how I would do it. You're gonna have your ratings, and your ratings are gonna go from 2 to 10 or whatever, 3 to 6, whatever your ratings go from. You're gonna have an average. You're gonna have people below average. You're gonna have people above average, right? So what I would do is anybody that has an above average rating, I would put those in green. People with below average ratings, I would put in red. And the other ones, black, are average. So for me, or someone at home that's playing the game, I can look at it and go, oh, his speed is 7 and is green. That means he's really fast. I should probably try and make him, try to take an extra base. Right? Instead of having each of the different classifications a different color, the classifications for me mean nothing. I don't care about your stupid classifications, whether it's a power, contact, or if it's a speed, steal, and run rating. I don't care about any of that. That makes no sense to me as a baseball. I'm playing the game. Come here, focus in. Thanks. I don't care about your different ratings there. You can see all the speed, steal. It doesn't matter. He's got a speed of 2, right? He's got a speed of 7, but it's in green. Why is it in green? Because it's in this category? That makes no sense. It doesn't help me as a baseball player. It doesn't help me playing your game any better. What I need is his speed in 2 to be red So I say, oh, should this guy take an extra base? It's red. No, I shouldn't because he's really slow. Christian Yelich, speed in green because it's 7 means it's really good. Maybe I should take an extra base with Christian Yelich. If I don't know these players, if I don't know how fast they are, if I don't follow baseball as much, but I'm trying to play the game, having the ratings color-coded, so a third of your players are going to be red because they're slow. A third of your players are going to be in the middle. And then a third of your players are going to be green because they're fast. For me, I can look at a card then and go, oh, this guy's fast and he doesn't throw very good. I can look at this guy's card and go, he's average and he's got a below average arm. I can look at this guy and say, oh, he's crap slow, but he's got a pretty good arm. This guy here, he's really slow and he's got a crap arm. This guy here, he's average speed and slightly probably average arm. He's average. He's got a really good arm though. He's average and average. So this guy would be all black, right? Because he's got all average stats. That for me helps because I now look at these guys and I can see this. I don't need to see, oh, he's got a speed of 5 and it's in green because why not? It makes no sense to me as a player. Why are these in green? It just doesn't make sense. There are a few other minor things that I've come across on some of the player cards. Let's see if I can find one here. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, here's one. All right, so here's a great example of one. All right, so before I go into this, one thing I really like, right? Positivity, right? We're being positive and we're being negative, right? I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to bring the pros and the cons, okay? So when I say something, it's just my opinion as a con or a pro. One of the things I like about this game is this game will actually force a runner to do certain things. It'll force a runner to go first to third. Whether they want to or not, it doesn't matter. Because sometimes the players out there just do things because they do things. They don't listen to their people. They just, oh, I think I can make it and I go, right? Which is great. I think that's a great idea. Force the player or force the actual player on the field to do things and not leave it up to the baseball resimmer to go, oh, is this guy going to do this? Well, that's what this explanation point means. So if I roll a 575, it's going to be a fly ball to left field. And the runner on third has to run home. But then the question mark means he has his choice, which doesn't make sense to me. So if you look at, let's see if we can find another good example. Like this guy here, right? So let's look at this example. So we have this one here. Runner on second has to advance because it's got the explanation point there. No question mark. It tells you what you got. You got to try to advance. There's another one right there, right? But the ones, it's either, right, you're either forcing them to do something or it's the player's choice. I don't understand why there is also this question mark and then the explanation point, because it's like you have a choice, but then you have to do it. So that doesn't make sense. So I don't know if they just missed some of that or if there's a reason behind it. But you can see, like for this one, it's a double. Runner first, he can try for home or he doesn't have to. This one here, it's a fly ball to right field. Runner on third, yeah, he can try to come home if he wants to. This one here, fly ball to right field. Runner from third, well, he can go home if he wants to, but he has to, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I hope they just clean up some of that question mark explanation point a little bit better. Anyways, my initial impressions, Yeah, I think it's got some good potential. I like some of this out of the box thinking and doing things. I'm not sure the design decision between the 300s and the 400s, right? So your 300s are just straight up batting. It doesn't matter if it's a lefty or righty. And then your 400s are your lefty-righty splits. So I'm not sure why the design decision was to split that. Here's his batting average against everyone, and then also here's his batting average against lefties and righties. Maybe because they needed to use up all 6 sides of the dice, and that was the best way they could think about doing it, which is a possibility. I would be interesting to know why they did, and same thing with the pitcher, right? So you got the pitcher, just base pitcher, doesn't matter who the batter is, and then you got the lefty-righty splits. Why? I don't know why there's 2 different ones. You could just have 1 and 2 be lefty-righty switches, right? And then 3 and 4 be the lefty-righty for the batters. I'm not sure why there's 2 different things, because there's got to be a lot more effort for the designer to create this and then create this on the side when they could just create one that does both things. I don't know. It's an interesting design decision. Anyways, I think it's got potential. It's got some good ideas. It's got some potential. I will say that. I will definitely. Hopefully, the designer will hear. Some positive feedback, and hopefully he'll watch my video and take everything with a grain of salt. This is just my first look, my first take at it. I have got a lot of baseball games with a lot of experience, and I know what people like and I know what people don't like, and I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I can tell you the things I do like and the things I don't like. There's got to be a way. He has to find a way to create some kind of way to make it quick and easy to look up these stats and ratings without having to flip through the cards every single time. Again, you could do that. Put all your players, do the batters over here, the pitchers over here, or create another sheet, right? Because most of this information, right? Most of this information you're only going to use. This is like your weather chart and your dimensions and then your deep drive adjustments. So, this stuff you can put elsewhere. You don't need that on here. You can have your pitchers and your batters and have all their ratings and everything on a card. So when somebody's playing, they can have their deep drive chart and their player stats on one card. That's going to be good, but it's not going to fix the problem of this. This is a problem. Because every time I roll a 5, unless I can look up a chart and it tells me 520 to 521 is the pass ball, I've got to look up the player's card, which is, it's going to be a pain in the ass for people to do that. Or 522 to 523 is going to be a 2-3 put out. So, you can't, as a replayer, and you got your team sheets and you're filling it all out and you're going, if you're playing Stratomatic or whatever, and you take your 3 or 4 ratings and you write them in on the sheet, right? You can't do that for all this because you're going to have all this information. 521 to 520, 520 to 521 is a pass ball. 522 to 523 is a 2-3 putout. 524 is a strikeout 2-3. 525 to 527 is a single infield hit. And 528 to 529 is a strikeout. So you're going to have all that information down. You don't have enough on your little scoring sheet. That's for sure. But, so, I mean, do this and put it on maybe a defensive sheet. Then put your ballpark information on, you could squeeze in your ballpark information, like back down here in the corner, and then have your deep drive adjustment, maybe up here. I mean, something like this. So I have a sheet, so I can roll a die, right? And if I roll 5, let's say 554, I don't have to go, 554. Let's see, that is... Travis Shaw, right? So now I got to find Travis Shaw. Oh, here he is. And it was a 554, and that is a 543 double play, right? So that just takes too long. It's just way too long. But anyways, that is my original thoughts. Again, this isn't beta. They might be redesigning this as we speak. I do not know. I'm just giving you my initial thoughts. Tim Pepper, Steeler fan 1933, Bob's Tabletop Sports, Tony's Board Life, Brandon Baker, T. Scott Howard, Captain Carl 8, Al Red Sox fan. Y'all are wonderful. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Initial impressions, it's got potential. It's got some goods to it. I think this could be a contender. We'll see how it progresses. We'll keep you up to date on it. I just wanted to bring it to more people's attention out there. You can download this for free and try it out yourself. Just go to the Facebook page, Season Ticket Baseball. Subscribe. And download, print it out. There's the 2019 season and like the 1956 season or some season nobody cares about. So, it's old-time baseball where they use, like, oven mitts for gloves and stuff like that. So, anyways, 2019 season with all the teams, all the players, download, print it out, play a couple games, leave some feedback for the designer, leave a link to this video for him, let him know. And, we'll see you all next time. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.